ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् महागणपतये नमः। प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रवतु आनो दिवो बृहतः पर्वतादा सरस्वती यजता गन्तु यज्ञम् वाग्देव्यै नमः। ॐ हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात्। ऋतगुं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। ईशानः सर्वविद्यानाम् ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर्ब्रह्मणोऽधिपतिर्ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवो। ॐ भूर्भुवः सुवः। ॐ नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च। ॐ अघोरेभ्योऽथ घोरेभ्यो घोरघोरतरेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः सर्वशर्वेभ्यो नमस्ते अस्तु रुद्ररूपेभ्यः। ॐ यो वेदादौ स्वरः प्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः सदाशिवो। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरिविश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ मेधा देवी जुषमाणा न आगात् विश्वाची भद्रा सुमनस्य माना त्वया जुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहद्वदेम विदथे सुवीरा आह। त्वया जुष्टऋषिर्भवति देवि त्वया ब्रह्मा गतश्री ऋतत्वया त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रं विन्दते वसुसानो जुषस्वद्रविणो न मेधे मेधाम् इन्द्रो ददातु मेधां देवी सरस्वती मेधां मे अश्विनावुभावा दत्तां पुष्करस्रज अप्सरासु च या मेधा गन्धर्वेषु च यन्मनः दैवी ईं मेधा सरस्वती सा मां मेधासुरभिर्युषता विस्वाहा आमा मेधासुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सा मां मेधा सुप्रतीकाजुषन्ताम्। ॐ हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ।
ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मीति मुक्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Om ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः प्रज्ञानां सुप्रदानैः स्थिरचिरनिकरैः व्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगान् स्तविष्टान् पुनरदिदिषणोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपिति मधुरभुन् मायया भोजयन्नो मायासङ्ख्यं तुरीयं परममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि यो विश्वात्मा विदितविषयान् प्राश्यभोगान् स्तविष्टान् पश्चाश्चान्यान् स्वमिति विभवान् ज्योतिषा स्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वानेतान् पुनरभिशनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगतगुणगणैः पात्वसौ न तुरीयः श्री परमात्मने नमः. So we have been going through the Mandukya Upanishad and the Karikas. We have completed the first 6 mantras and 8 Karikas, and we are on the 7th mantra. So the mantras starting from the first one to 6 and the 7th one I'll chant. ओमित्येतदक्षरमिदं सर्वं तस्योपव्याख्यानं भूतं भविष्यतीति सर्वं ओङ्कार एव यच्छान्यत्रिकालातीतं तदप्य ओङ्कार एव सर्वं ह्येतद् ब्रह्म अयमात्मा ब्रह्म सोऽयमात्मा चतुष्पात् जागरितस्थानो बहिःप्रश्नः सप्ताङ्ग एकोनविंशतिमुखः स्थूलभुक् वैश्वानरः प्रथमः पादः स्वप्नस्थानो अन्तःप्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्ग एकोनविंशतिमुखः प्रविविक्तभुक् तैजसो द्वितीयः पादः यत्र सुप्नो न कञ्चन कामं कामयते न कञ्चन स्वप्नं पश्यति तत् सुषुप्तं सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतप्रज्ञानगण एवमानन्दमयो ह्यानन्दभुक् तेजोमुखः प्राज्ञस्तृतीयः पादः एष सर्वेश्वर एष सर्वज्ञ एषो अन्तर्यामी एष योनिः सर्वस्य प्रभवो अव्ययोः हि भूतानां नान्तप्रज्ञं न बहिःप्रज्ञं नोपैतप्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञं अज्ञानघनं न प्रज्ञं नाप्रज्ञम् अदृश्यम् अव्यहार्यम् अग्राह्यम् अलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यम् अव्यपदेशम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारं प्रपञ्चोपशमं शान्तं शिवम् अद्वैतं चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः. So we were on the 7th mantra. In the last Karika, we were told by Gaudapada Karika that Devasya Yasha Subhavaha and Aptakamasya Kaspraha. That means Devasya means Turiyasya, Yasha Subhavaha. This is the Subhava, or this is the way in which Turiya is functioning. And why it is happening? Aptakamasya Kaspraha. For one, where all kama or objects of desire or everything is embedded in it, how can it have a desire to have something separate? So, what does it indicate? Even though there is no desire to project, feel in reality, all the expressions which we were told in the Jagrat Swapna Sushupti, the waking, the dream and the deep sleep, or the gross world, the subtle world, and the state of total annihilation of experiences. of external world is the three states which I have been told. Now each one is called a pada as per this Upanishad. Tritiya pada. So ek pradama pada, dvitiya pada, tritiya pada. Now the pada really means in the standard meaning is for the quarter or the division. But here we should take the meaning as aspect of the first aspect, second aspect, and the third aspect. And Turiya is not an aspect. So even though Chaturtha Padaha, even though mentioned as the Chaturtha Padaha, the fourth one is to be seen in a light of a different aspect altogether. To know this, the mantra which is used by the Upanishad is in all negation. Na andapratnyam, na bahipratnyam, na uveda pratnyam, na pratnyanaganam, na pratnyam, na apratnyam, adrishyam, avyavaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achintyam, avyapadesham. All these things are in the negation, in the sense it is saying what it is not. Before saying Ekatma Pratyasaram Prapanchopashamam Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtam Manyante Sa Atma Savijñeyaha. That is the Upadeshavaka, part of that, after having negated everything. Now, if I want to explain this, I have no other means but to depend upon the master's own words, Shankara's own words. Even though I may be using Sanskrit in between, don't worry. Whenever I'm using a Sanskrit word, I'll be translating it for the benefit of those who do not know Sanskrit. Because that is the way in which this mantra explanation can be only understood. So don't get disheartened when you are listening to Sanskrit when I'm reading in between. But as soon as I finish the reading, I'm translating or give the meaning of that in English also. So before the mantra is being explained, Acharya Shankara wants to explain the importance of the word Turiya. Now the word Turiya is used for indicating that fourth aspect of the reality. So there is a question which is predominantly coming up from the what you call Pradiyogi or the opposition, or those who are wanting to know. You can say that opposition is not those who are really against it, but wanting to know more, they are asking these questions for clarity. That is our state of mind. We want to know it better way. So the narration or the Bhashya, which is the commentary, goes like this. Chaturtha padaha krama prapto vaktavya ityaha na anda pratyatiyina. So having said about the three aspects of gross, subtle and sushupti, waking, dream and deep sleep, the fourth is in order and therefore it needs to be explained. So before we explain the fourth one, the waking has been explained as gross, gross objects being experienced and the world of experiences. The dream is explained as a world of subtle experiences. And deep sleep is that where yatra kanchana kamam na kamyate, where there is no desires, nothing is there, not even the desire to even anything with the body or the ego or the intellect. So having said said that, now when the fourth is being explained, how can it be explained? Because all that we know in our experience is that we have these three experiences of gross, subtle and that deep sleep. So is there any fourth one which we do not know, which the Upanishad want us to know? So to say that Sarva Shabda Pravritti Nimitta Shunyatvad means Sarva Shabda, all the words Pravritti nimittam. See, it is the Shabda is creating a cause. Nimitta means cause for pravritti. The moment we hear a sound, there is a tendency for us to get into an activity, recollecting from the memory, attributing our inner tendencies of which is called the vasanas, and then the gross experience which is coming to us is not accepted in its entirety or in purity. We always compare it from the memory, what it matches, whether it is matching with the data bank which we have in our memory or not. And even the new experience, when it comes, we convert that into memory even with the tendencies which we have, because what that word has, the object has done to us, is the basis on which we convert that into memory. We do not take the object in its entire purity. If that object with a name and a form is giving us happiness, the memory which we create is related to happiness. If the object is not given us any happiness or anything, that is what is going into memory, coloring the name and the object. Same way, everything either good, bad, tall, lean, white, black, all sorts of adjectives are added to the name and form. We do not look at the objects by its own purity. So that is the pravritti nimittam, and this sarva shabda pravritti nimitta shunyata, there is an absence of, for the word turiya when we hear it. The turiya word is not a word which we know earlier. So there is nothing in our memory which we can color it. Now, for example, if people are now, those who are listening is already have a set idea about Turiya, I request you all to keep it aside and forget about. Don't bring up your memory from here. What you have learned from earlier exposure to the word Turiya, let us approach it with a clean slate and clean mind. So there are 5 aspects for any sound which to give us a tendency or a memory type. One is called the sambandha. Sambandha means relationship. Any name and form we want to relate it to past or present. If we say he is this person, now that person whom I saw somewhere else is what is I am relating to a person when I am saying. Or else, if a person is known with his activity, like a mason or a cook or a painter or a singer, whatever may be that, we know the person adjective of the work which or the kriya which he is famous for or with which he is known. Then there are some words which is called rudi. Rudi means by definition that is how the world comes to know about it. For example, the name of air, water, or the animal's name, cow, etc., are Rudi Shabdas. Of course, there are Vitpanna Shabdas, means etymologically derived due to their activities and etc. That is all thing. But every natural thing has got a Rudi name or rudimentary name. So when we hear a word Turiya, there is no equivalent rudimentary word which we know about Turiya. So that is also not possible. Then comes the jati. Suppose if I am saying human, the humanity is a jati or an animal is a jati, or jati means a cluster or a group or a category. So immediately we want to put it in a category of that. So having told dream, waking and dream, deep sleep, everything, the tendency for us to put this into the category of dream, waking and dream, there is another experience which is supposed to be beyond the waking, dream and deep sleep, will be our tendency to put turiya into. That is called the jati. But it is not that also, because sarvat pravritti nimittam shunyatvat. There is no no non experience which is beyond waking, dream, and deep sleep. So even it is not in a jati of the waking, dream, and deep sleep. Now, gunam. In the case of gunam, we knew that the waking is relating to gross experiences, then subtle experience, and the experience of knowing nothingness is the deep sleep. All these three are the guna, or which we said that the three padas or the three aspects of our experience were there in the before. So that also is not there in the case of Turiya. When we say Turiya, what is the guna with which we can know about it is also not possible. So the actions of the words is shunyam. As far as these five categories is not possible for us to terminologically fix the word Turiya into one category. Therefore, it is called Sarva Shabda Pravritti Nimitta Shunyam. Tasya means Turiyasya Shabda Anabhideyatvam iti Vishesha Pradishena evam Turiyam Nirdidishyati. Shabda Anabhideyatvam. Anabhideyam means inexplicability of the word Shabda by Vishesha Pradishedena. By when you are saying na andapraknyam, na bihipraknyam, is all pradishedam means negation. Vishesha pradishedam. In we have the vishesham or the adjectives for the waker, the dreamer, the deep sleeper. So these three adjectives are called the vishesha for the waker, vishesha for the dreamer, vishesha for the deep sleeper. So Vishesha Pradishedena means by negating the adjectives or the qualifiers for the three experiences of waking, dream, and deep sleep. Evam cha turiyam nirdidishyati. This is the way, hence the only way to explain or indicate turiya is by negation of Vishesha Pradisheda. Now, there are ways in which technically they call it Jahad Aghad Lakshanam Adava Vidhi Nisheda Mukhena. These are all Shastriya or the typical, traditional method in which they will do the analysis. So let us not get into those things, then we will never be able to move forward. But basically understand that the word is something which we are hearing for the first time, and there is no qualifier with which we can pigeonhole this word into any category. But if you have already categorized it into as a sakshi or as a witness for all those things, please set those things aside, because it is neither a sakshi nor any of those category of the word turiya here means. So the student asks, Shunyam eva tarhi? If that is the case, is it shunyam? So that definitely natural. You are saying that it is neither this nor that, nothing, nothing, nothing. When you are negating with all those vishesha pradisheda vakya, which is the negations, the tendency for the student will be that if are you indicating about the void or shunyata, which is the nature of it, tadna. That is not the case. Mithya vikalpasya nirnimitvatya anupatte. The concept of mithya vikalpasya means mithya being a concept, and nirnimittasya can never be a cause for knowledge, anupatte, for applicability of it. Nahi, not only that, Rajata Sarpa Purusha Mrigatrushnadikadi Vikalpaha, the appearances of the Rajata means silver, Sarpa means snake, Purusha means man, Mrigatrishniga is the mirage. All of the Vikalpas, Vikalpa means the appearances or illusions, imaginations. All these appearances is something which is called the concept of mithya or an illusion. That is nirnimittam, that cannot convey the applicability in the case of Turiya, because Shuktika Rajut Sthanu Purushadi Vedirekena Avastu Aspada Shakya Kalpaidam. Because for the silver, snake, a man, mirage, etc., The substratum of the shell, the rope, the post, all the Usharadi means the desert, all those things are mandatory on which you can superimpose an illusion. Therefore, the non-real without a dependency is never possible to imagine. Why does that statement come here? Because we are negating everything. Na andakalpam, na andarpratnam, na bahipratnam, no vedapratnam. All of them are being negated. So the question is that is it tending to void? So here the Shankaracharya says that even in the case of when we are saying it is an illusion, even for illusion and it is not possible without the substratum on which we can superimpose something. So non-apprehension is the reason why we are superimposing on that. But for even for non-apprehension, the substratum is the base on which we are not having a non-apprehension. On Shunya, we cannot have a non-apprehension. Therefore, it is not we are saying about Shunya. Then the student is asking, Evam Tarhi, in that case, Pranadi Sarva Vikalpaspakata Turiyasya Shabdavachyam iti na iti. So, even in that case, Pranadi, like the prana, Sarva Vikalpaspadatva, the substratum for all imagination, Turiyasya Shabdavachyam, it is, are you saying that because in all these states, prana is the substratum on which he knows the body to be. He is still identifying with the body. So therefore, the student is asking, prana, etc., are they the basis on which, because even in waking that prana was there, even in dream prana was working, even in the deep sleep prana was working. So are you talking about the prana, etc., as the turiya? No. Shankara says no. Pradishedaihi pratyayatvam udagaderehe iva gadadehe, etc. The sense that the denials of trustworthiness of dependency of water is based on the pot. The water in a pot, when we say that, the dependency for the water is the mud pot. Here the pranadi is only like that. Pranadi vikalpasya avastutvat shuktigadishuva iva rajadadehe. The pranadi is like water in a pot. So pranadi cannot be the turiya because like the body and the prana works within the body. So it is like a body in which something else is there. So that also cannot be considered to be the turiya. So, and it is avastutva because Shuttigradishu iva rajadadehe. There also the superimposition of the prana being the substratum for the superimposition of turiya cannot be considered because even prana is an experience within the realm of the three. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Other than Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, even prana's existence is not known. Therefore, it is avastu when compared to prana, when the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Nahi sat asat oho sambandaha shabda pravritti nimittat bhak. Nor can there be a relation between the sat and asat in the result of the word as with causation. Now, word pravritti nimittam is a shabda pravritti nimitta bhak, means the one which is resultant of the meaning and the causation of that is not possible only when we have a condition where it is sat and asat. Either it is there or it is not there. In that case, we have the meaning, the shabda has a meaning for that. When we say the tree is there, the man is there, the animal is there. Or if we say that, the flower of the sky or the son of a barren woman, it is an avastu, which is not there. In both the cases, the shabda is the reason by which we have getting into idea. Now, Turiya is neither Sat nor Asat. It is Sadasat Vilakshana. It is neither the Sat mean existence, nor it is a non-existence. It cannot be called an Asat and Asat. Avastutvat napi pramanantara vishayatvam swarupena gavadivat. Avastutvat. They are too intangible. In the sense, it's vastu means then only you can tangible. Whether it is sat or asat, both are tangible within the realm of the words. Not only that, pramanantara vishayatvam. Then pramanas means that which creates the knowledge in us. Now, pramanantara vishayatvat means it is beyond the capability of the instruments of knowledge which can create knowledge for us. Swarupena, by nature, Gavadivat, like a cow, because in the word cow we have a pramana with which we can define that the experience of a cow is being made. We can define it as a four-feeted one with a dewlap, two horns, and a twin hoof, etc., etc. There are definitions with which we can make a pramana, means identifiers with which we can define that cow. In the case of Turiya, there is nothing there. Atmano nirupadikatvad. This Atma is without any condition. There is no upadik. Nirupadikatvad means there is no way which you can gavadivat na api jadimatvam. It is not, cannot be categorized into a category of experiences that, like the waking, the dream, and deep sleep, is categories of experiences. So here, Swarupena, it is the Swarupa or the Swabhava. Because of that, it cannot be limited to any Upadhi with which we can experience that. Adhyudiyatvena Samanya Vishesha Abhavat. Being non-dual in nature, there is only one. So there is no way you can compare it with anything else. So Adhyudiyatvena, because of that non-dual nature of it, Samanya Vishesha Abhavat. Otherwise you cannot categorize into a group or a specific Samanya Vishesha. Both are not possible, Abhavat. Na api kriyavatvam pachakadivat. Not can you give it as the cause for any activity. He is a kartrutva or doership in it, like a cook or a singer or a painter or a carpenter or any of those activity related way because it is akarta. The Turiya is non-doer of any activity. There is no doership in that. Therefore, it is not a kriyavatvam. Akriyatvad is the reason because avikriyatvad, it is avikriya. There is no kriya doership in it. Na api gunavatvam niladivat nirgunatvad. Turiya is nirguna. Therefore, you cannot add any qualifier like it is blue in color, it is bright, 1,000 sun color light shining like that. It is nirguna, therefore there is no sun shining or no darkness, no black, no white, no colors, no identifiers, nothing like, no guna in it. So, all because of the nirgunatvat. Ato na abhidhanena nirdishya marhati. Therefore, with a meaningful word, it cannot be pinpointed that it is so and so or it is this. All sorts of pinpointing with which normally words can be derived at is not applicable in the case of Turiya. Neither it is jatimat, there is a category, specific or a category, nor does it belong to any doership, nor does it have any guna. So all these things are being negated. Therefore, it is not possible to directly what is turiya with a positive integer word. Then the student asks, Shashavisha is samatvat nirartarkam tarhi. Then are you saying that it is like the hair or the horn of the hare or a son of a barren woman or the flower of the sky? There are so many explains where it is never possible. You have never seen a horn for a hare, or the rabbit doesn't have a horn, nor does anywhere there is a history of a barren woman given birth to a child, nor is there any flowers possible from the sky, which is a space. Space cannot produce sky unless there is a flowering plant in it which can give rise to plant. So is it something nirartakam bhavati va? Is it becoming that it is non-existent thing which you are talking about? Shankara says no. Atmatva avagame turiyasya anatmatrishta vyavrhate hedutvat. Atmatva avagame. When you are knowing the nature of the self, Atmatva avagame, turiyasya, which is the name for Atma, anatma trishta vyavritti hedutvat. The causes for various vrittis which are creating for in the case of an anatma. Anatma means all those things other than turiya and atma. There is vritti which is created in the mind by all the qualities which we have mentioned earlier. Once we know the reality of the nature of atma or turiya, anatma trishna vyavritti. It is the quenching of all mental functions to know it, because it is self-effulgent. It is known by itself. Its presence itself is its revealing, and there is no way of it knowing by which the mind can create thought process. So it is not where the vritti shunyatvat. He is giving an example. Shuktika avagame iva rajata trishnaya. The moment you know that it is not a silver but a shell lying there, which I thought it is a silver, the moment you know that it is a shell, the desire to pick up and possess the silver is lost. Or if you know that it is a rope, not a snake, all the fear vanishes. Same way, Turiyasya atmattu avagame sati avidya trishnadi doshanam sambhava asti. When atmattu avagame, Turyasya atmattvame, means here the atmatva is the self. Once it knows itself as the turiya, avidya trishnadi doshanam, all the desires which is a result of not knowing the reality, avidya, doshanam, all the defects of that, na sambhava asti. Nahi is the word with which it starts. Naha turiyasya atmattu avagame sadi avidya trishnadi doshana sambhava asti. So once the self knows its reality that I am the turiya, and the turiya and I am not two separate, then all the ignorant related trishna or the desires which is there, which we are facing in the waking dream and deep sleep, there is no possibility for it. Sambhava na sambhava asti. There is no way it can happen. Nacha turiyasya atmattu avagame karanam asti sarva upanishadanam tadarthyena. If that doesn't happen, all the Upanishad, through their meaning, what it is saying is Atmattu Avagama, is indicating what is the Atma. If it is not really possible to be achieved, or is it a is a utopian idea which is not really possible to know that, then all the words of the Upanishad, which has been indicating us to know the Atma by different methodologies, all of them will become nirarthakam. It will become futile. Upakshayat. They will become wasteful. What are the words? Tad Tomasi. When the Chandogya Upanishad says that thou art, you are that from which everything has come. You, not the individual. Your reality with which you have not understood what is your reality. Once you know that, you will know that everything is from that. Just as one ornament, when you know the gold is the substratum, anything made of the gold is known. Or when you know the wave is nothing but ocean, all the waves which are battling on the shore is known as ocean. Entire space in which all the names and forms are appearing, they cannot exist without the space. The names and forms are only conditioned because of the name and the shape. They cannot have existence without the space. Something similar, when you know that your real nature, you will know that that is the exact everything in which that is also which is everything. Then in the same Upanishad, the second mantra we heard that I am Atma Brahma. This Atma with which you think you are the body, that is not the body. That yourself itself is the Brahma. What is being there? This is what we are going to learn by the word Turiya, because this is from the same Upanishad, the second mantra. Now the seventh mantra is explaining that I am Atma Brahma, the Turiya and the Brahma are the same. Yet Sakshat Aparokshat Brahma. In the Brihadaranya Upanishad, it is said that Yet Sakshat Aparokshat. Ni Aparoksha means Pratyaksha. Now Sakshat Pratyaksham is Brahma. Now can you tell me one thing which is Pratyaksha means immediate knowledge for you under all circumstances and all conditions, even when things are changing, there is something which is always pratyaksha for you, which is always immanent and known to you, and that is Brahma. Tat sakshat aparokshat Brahma. That pratyaksha which can never leave you, or with which you are always, you know yourself, because the knowledge that I am is always there with us. That is the sakshat paroksha, and that is Brahma. Sa bahya abhyantaro ajaha. It is neither inside nor outside. You cannot condition that Brahma because you have a body which is mutable. It has a birth and decay. So you think that you are conditioned by the body. It is neither inside that body nor outside. Na bahya na andaraha. And it is also ajaha, means it is neither have taken birth nor it is thing. The pot coming into shape doesn't give birth to the space inside the pot. The pot was there before, no, the space was there before. The shape of the pot, when it appeared, it contained some space inside, doesn't generate a space out new. The space was always there. It is a space in which even the shape of the pot is existing. So you cannot say that there is a birth and death for the space. Same way, this awareness, this Prajnanam Brahma or this Atma, with which I always know myself and everything is known, that has no birth. Atme Vedam Sarvam. Atma Eva Idam Sarvam. That Atma or this Atma of yours or this Atma which I told is the Brahma is Idam Sarvam. Everything is that only. Don't limit with you with your conditions of your body, mind and intellect. Everything is that Brahma. Ityadinam Soyamatma Paramartha Aparamartha Rupa Rupaha Chu तुष्यादिस् युक्तः तत्र so I am Atma. This is that Atma. So I am Atma. This is that Atma which the Turiya is being defined as. Paramartha, Aparamartha, which is both absolute and which is apparent, because Aparamartha also has no separate locus standi. What we call it as Aparamartha is not actually Aparamartha. What we think is by have birth and death is only the name and form, which is illusion. But the matter or the essence is in the form of existence and awareness, which has no birth and death. So Paramartha, Amaramartha, Rupascha, all the forms which we think, Tushadi Yuktaha is in that Rupa Chatushpadi Yuktaha. The Chatushpada Yuktaha means it is included in all the four, both Paramartha and Aparamartha. Rupa, the names and forms which are there as a waker, dream and deep sleep, and the Turiya, which is including the fourth one. These are all both included in that word Paramartha and Aparamartha. Tasya Aparamartha Rupa Avidya Kritam Rajju Sarpadi Samyuktam Padatraya Lakshanam Bijangarasthaniyam Tasya Aparamartha Rupam Avidyakritam. Now it is said both Paramartha and Aparamartha is included in the four quarters or the four aspects. Among that, Tasya Turiyasya Aparamartha Rupam Avidyakritam. The Turiya is supposed to be having Aparamartha Rupam, which is having got birth and death and decay and name and form and destruction, etc. That is Aparamartha Rupam. That is Avidyakritam. That is because the reality of Turiya is not known. Therefore, the Aparamartha Kritam is Avidyakritam, means created by the ignorance of not knowing the Zoom. How? Rajju Sarpadi Samyuktam. Just like the snake and the rope is together experienced. You cannot experience snake alone separate and the rope alone separate in the same condition when you have a avidya, when you have a delusion. You will always see the rope and the snake together in the same condition, in one place, in the same shape and form. But not knowing the rope, you assume avidya is the reason why you are saying the snake on that. But there, once you know, there you cannot separate the rope separate and the snake separate when the knowledge comes. What does the avidya do? What was created by the avidya, what is created by the ignorance, that vanishes. Because it didn't have a reality, aparamartham, avidyakritam. That ignorant created appearance of the nama rupa vanishes. Padatraya lakshanam bijangura sthaniyam. Just as in the Padatraya Lakshanam, in the three states of aspects of the Jagrat Swapna Sushupti, Bija Angura Sthaniyam, it appears, you can say, but if it's not really also, Sthaniyam means you can attribute that as a Bija Angura Nyaya. That means there is a seed and a sprout. There's a cause and relationship. That Bijangura Sthaniyam means a cause and effect relationship. Avidya is the cause and the Aparamartha, Rupa, Nama, Rupa are the sprouts. The seed and the sprout is because of not knowing the reality. Atha idanim bijatmagam paramartha swarupam. But in reality, when avidya is not there, the Aparamartha Rupam vanishes. Like the snake vanished when you knew the reality of the rope. The whole world of experiences have no reality. And there, in that case, you can say it is the Turiya is the reason why from Turiya everything came up. Only under that condition, that This illusion came up from a reality like the snake needed a substratum. The avidyakrita nama rupa experiences of waking, dream and deep sleep needed a substratum which is real. That is why the reality is felt on the Jagrat Swapna Sushupti, not of the products of the experiences of the world of waking, dream and deep sleep. It is the reality of the Turiya which is felt in the Jagra Swapna Sushupti, but avidya, due to the ignorance, we give it as the world of reality of gross, subtle, and the Sushupti is because of not knowing the reality or the nature of Turiya. Like the not knowing the nature of the rope is the reason why we are attributing the snake on that. Therefore, the Paramartha Swarupam Turiyam is, you can call it as a Bijatmakam in this case. Sarpadi Sthaniya Ukta Sthana Traya Nirakaranena Aha. By refuting the superimposition like the snake and the substratum of the rope, the only reality which remained was only the rope. Same way, when we say na anda pratnya, na bhi pratnya, na ubeda pratnya, all those things, when you remove, it is not a snake when you see the rope. Same way, when we say that this is not the anda pratnya, not the inner knowledge, inner awareness, not the external awareness, when these things are negated, the turiya, just like the rope was known when the snake was gone, same way, when these attributions of the andapratnya, bahipratnya, all those things, when it is understood in its words properly, that's jnana samakale eva. Just you didn't have to bring a stick, what you call a snake catcher to remove the snake from the rope. No, just by knowing that it is not snake, the snake vanished. Same way, by when knowing Andapratnya, it is not the Andapratnya, not the Bahipratnya, and all those things, when it is known, Turiya Avagamam, we will know what is Turiya. This is the way in which the introduction of the first part is being given by Shankara. Now he will get into the second aspect where Atma Chadushpadam Pradijnaya Padagatrayateneva Chadurtad Pratnyadi Satve Siddha Na Anda Pratnyam Ityadi Pradisheda iti. There is a question from the student. If the fourfold aspects of Atma explained using the threefold aspects, the fourth is self-evident as other than the three, then why it is necessary that negate it when we say that it is not waking, it is not dream, it is not deep sleep, then automatically what is not dream, waking and deep sleep should be known as the fourth one as the Turiya, is the question which the student asks. Naturally, if we have got a cow with four legs, we will say no, not the first two legs, not the hind right leg. So the only one which will be left, the hind left leg. It can be segregated that way? No. Shankara answers this, which I will take it in the next class, because that it goes into a very lengthy discussion. So here in this aspect, we have understood that what is the necessity for negating na anda pratnyam na bahi pratnyam in relation to Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti and Turiya. The words cannot explain it. Even the words which are positive or quality wise which we can use is not possible in the case of Turiya. So the only way is Nishedharthakam, or by negating words, just as that when it is said that it is not snake, the rope is known. Same way, when it is known that it is not the waking, it's not the dream, it's not the deep sleep, the fourth, it's not the fourth, what is indicated as the fourth will be known. That is being explained in this thing, which I'll take it on the Friday. we'll stop it here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you all.